Om Shakti Satyam. Namaste. Today we are going to discuss and contemplate few things. Yes. Actually, one of our friends from Sweden, his name is Marcus, he has expressed a question. Let's see what it is. Someone said something like, certain type of yoga creates a distance between you and your mind and you and your body, and this could end the suffering in a person. And further, the question continues, but if the greatest and the most beautiful thing you can experience lies in yourself and in your heart, and if that is what you want to experience, could this type of yoga harm that seeking? And the feeling of running away from yourself appears instead. The type of yoga I refer to here includes intense breath techniques. This is the question from Marcus, Sweden. Let us see this. He says, someone said, certain types of yoga creates a distance between you and your mind and your body. Yes. First of all, we have to understand what is yoga. Before you start understanding this question, yoga is a very broad spectrum. It's not only a physical yoga or a yogasana. In fact, those who are familiar with Bhagavad Gita, you know very well, the whole Bhagavad Gita is nothing but yoga. It has 18 chapters. All the 18 chapters are nothing but yoga, of different yogas. So, when you understand on that context, we understand what is really yoga. The purpose of yoga is to, first of all, discriminate from the body, from the mind, and from the emotions, and from the intellects. Discrimination. So, if a certain yoga is doing this job, it is really good. As such, in most of the cases, in most of the persons, it is integrated. The body, mind, intellect and emotions, everything is a kind of mesh. Therefore, certain problems are arising out of this mesh. So, the real yoga always gives an experience of discriminating. Yes. That means keeping the mind in a distance, for a distance, and keeping the body also from the self, and so on. It is really good. And the question also continues like, but if the greatest and the most beautiful thing you can experience lies in yourself and in your heart. Yes. So, when you have the discrimination of the body, mind, emotion, intellect, it does not mean that you will not have any experience. Certainly the experience in this kind of discrimination gives a very in-depth experience, far better experience than an ordinary experience. you will experience more because you keep distance between you and your body. It does not mean that the body is completely gone away. It is there already with you. The only thing, you are not attached to it. You clearly understand that the body is not you, the mind is not you, and the intellect is not you, and the emotions are not you. So that much clarity one can get it out of yoga or meditation or whatever spiritual discipline that you are practicing. So, and if that is what you want to experience, could this type of yoga harm that seeking? No, I cannot say this kind of yoga harmful. It is blissful actually. If this yoga is taught in the by a competent person, the right person, yes, and the feeling of running away from yourself appears inside. No, it's not running away. It gives a chance for the person who could able to discriminate the body, mind, emotion, intellect, etc. They are more interested in life because such kind of discrimination gives a blissful experience. A blissful person always enjoys everything. He enjoys the body like anything. He enjoys his mind. He enjoys his emotions and everything. This is what a real yoga or a real spiritual discipline brings as a gift. So, as I told you, it has to be learned from a right teacher, the right person. That's very important. Yes. And another question is coming from Greece, from Stephanos. Let's see what's happening here. My name is Stephanos from Greece, and my question is, how can one stop mental disturbances like panic attacks through yoga? Yeah, almost related question, but here the context is little different. So the question is, how can one stop mental disturbances like panic attacks through yoga? This question is also slightly related with the previous question that we discussed so far, that how a mental disturbance is arising in a person. It's so obvious that when the thinking is too much, when a person is having a overthinking, you call it overthinking all the time unnecessarily, then a mental disturbance is bound to happen to that person. When these kind of mental disturbances, if we are not doing anything on it in a long run, it may lead to attacks. What kind of attack? Panic attacks. We all know what is panic attack. Panic attack is nothing but a sudden attack out of fear or anxiety, a kind of shock, all this kind of thing. It may happen at any time. And when a panic attack is happening, actually, it influences the body also. Many a time, this kind of panic attacks due to mental disturbances, it may look like something wrong with the heart or something. Even sometimes, for some people, it may look like a heart attack. It's not a heart attack, it is panic attack. But it looks like such a kind of dangerous situation it is. It has to be attended at the earliest, without any delay. So, what can we do? The questioner himself asking this, what is he asking? The person is asking, or friend is asking here, through yoga, how can one stop mental disturbance like panic attack through yoga? Yes, this can be handled definitely, and it can be stopped also. And these kind of persons can live a very beautiful life, peaceful life, blissful life, no doubt about it. Through yoga, of course, again, we have to understand the word called yoga, the context called, terminology called yoga. Yoga is inclusive. Yoga is inclusive. What is the inclusiveness? The inclusiveness is starting from the physical movement of the body, that is yoga asana. Of course, it will help. How it will help? See, when you are doing something with the physical body, some movements, for example, it has got a certain influence on the mind also. If you are moving the body in a certain way, it streamlines the mind also. It aligns the mind in such a way. Therefore, the yogasana is of great help. Because, in fact, they are not separate. In fact, they are not separate. The body, mind, it's related each other. You know, the inner side of the physical body is mind, the outer side of the mind is the physical body. You can understand this. Also, the heart is also connected. Everything is connected actually. So, nothing is separate. For example, if your emotions are very strong or very pungent or negative, it influences in the mind as well as it influences in the body also. It is completely a network. It's related. Therefore, yoga means physical movement of the body in a certain way. Therefore, the mind can be controlled, the mind can be aligned, definitely, and the emotions can also be controlled by yogasana, that is physical yoga. And that is not enough to control and to stop this kind of mental disturbances and like a panic attack. One has to work a little more than physical yoga. What is that more than? So we have to work on the breath. As most of us know already, that the breath and the thoughts or the mind is already interconnected. When you do something with the breath, you are indirectly doing something with the mind or the thought or overthinking. By just align the breath in a certain way, certainly you can reduce the overthinking of the mind. You can have a peaceful mind. That is very easy. Actually, when we are working directly to the mind, which is very hard really. But if you are working through the breath, it's easier to control the mind. So, certain breath exercises, what you call pranayam, or certain types of breathing, one can definitely control the mind, control the mental disturbances certainly, and as a result can be controlling the panic attacks like. So breath exercises, very important. That's also coming under yoga. That's what I have been telling. Yoga is not just a physical thing. It includes many other things. And there is another way which is also included in the yoga is meditation, contemplation, meditation. You know, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, things like that. One can practice meditation. What is meditation? Meditation is nothing but aware of the thoughts, aware of the mind, and watching and witnessing the mind constantly in a very relaxed manner. And mindfulness of our day-to-day activities. So through these kinds of yoga, they're all coming under yoga. One can definitely control and align the mind and the mental disturbances. As a result, one can stop, one can be free from the panic attacks definitely in few days. It will not take much time. So certainly it's useful. And in a long term, what other way we can follow, especially the people who are all suffering from mental disturbances and kind of attacks, panic attacks. Lifestyle changing, altering the lifestyle. That means around the clock awareness of what we are doing, how we are moving, how we are speaking, how we are conversing, how we are doing our routine work. All these kind of things we have to bring consciousness into it. When we are combined, when you are doing all these things together, I am sure that one can come out of the disturbances of the mind. As a result, one can be free from panic attacks, no doubt. So the questioner need not wait for days. You can also advise whoever is suffering from this kind of symptoms of what you are listening now and what you are learning now, what you are contemplating today. It will be of great help for your friends or your family members, whoever it is. It's a small help for our neighbors, for our colleagues, for our friends, and so on. Yes. So, so far we have seen two expressions, that is two questions. One is from Greece, another one is from Sweden. Now we can go into another question. This is from Pamela from Kansas City, United States. Yes. So actually, she's not asking any question here today. She likes actually to give interpretations and give some understanding about a quote from Jesus the Christ. This quote is appearing in the Luke chapter 14, 26th verse. So let's see what's happening here. Yes. Here in this chapter, Luke 14, what Jesus says is, if anyone comes to me and does not hate his father and mother and wife and children and brothers and sisters, yes, even his own life, he cannot be my disciple. This is what the quote is all about, said by Jesus Christ. So Pamela wants to have the contemplation about this, to have the right understanding about the quote. Because this quote looks like very pungent, very strong, high voltage. Because here is a word appearing hating. According to this quote, Jesus says, those who are really hating the mother, father, brothers and sisters, wife and children, and even the person own life, can be a disciple of Jesus. Very pungent, look like pungent, look like very strong, look like very high voltage. How a man of love, man of compassion can say like this? Because this word hate is used by Jesus Christ, we have to contemplate very deeply. We cannot superficially take the meaning here. We have to meditate upon this quote again and again to understand in what context Jesus Christ says so. Here the context is a comparison. One side the master, another side the whole of the relatives, blood relatives, also close relatives like wife and husband and children, and so on. A comparativeness is going on. What is the comparativeness here is, those who love very much of a master, here the Jesus Christ, compared to one's own mother, father, children, wife or husband, brothers and sisters, and one's own life, then that person is qualified to be my disciple. Here is a comparative thing. Those who love the master than any other thing, any of the relatives that is coming here in the list, can be a disciple. Here also, we have to understand few things. In the life of Jesus Christ, he has two kinds of teaching in his life. You can have two varieties of his teaching, his life. One teaching is teaching to his disciples. Another teaching is teaching to general mass. That we must understand. Not only Jesus Christ, many masters, many gurus, if you just keenly observe their teachings, they teach this way. When they appear in front of the mass, the society, their teaching is slightly different. When they teach directly to his or her disciples, their teaching is so straight, so heavy, so pungent. That means what? For a general mass, that means those who are living in the family, those who are living in the society, those who are living an ordinary life of doing day-to-day work, routine work, doing business, going to the office, or a worldly life, there Jesus' teaching is in a softer way, not in a pungent way like this quote, to maintain a peaceful life. What he teaches to the mass, the society people is, be kind, be calm, be quiet, love the neighbor, love all, share it your brothers and sisters. These are the common teachings. You can find it in his words also. Here, this quote, especially the Luke chapter 14, 26 verse, he is directly addressing to the disciples. This advice or this suggestion is not for a common people. that we must understand. With whom he is speaking. He wants to prescribe, he wants to give definition to be a disciple. That's why many times I also say, to be one among in the crowd and meeting a master is easier. No problem. Thousands and 10,000 people can come and meet any master, any guru. Not a problem. But to be a disciple is not easy. It's really a tough thing. It needs a special qualification, preparation to be a disciple. That we must be very clear. When we read the quotings or quotes of Jesus Christ, we have to see first of all with whom, for whom he is advising. This quote is for whom? Who is the audience for this? That we must understand. Then we will know the real meaning of what is he really saying. Unless a person gives the first priority for a master, he cannot be a disciple. Because the mind is always wavering to 1001 things around the disciple, the so-called disciple. That is the normal things happening with any master, around any master. Therefore, he is very particular. If you really want to be a disciple to me, you have to love me than anything in the world. Therefore, he is saying, if anyone comes to me and does not hate his father and mother and wife and children and brothers and sisters, yes, even his own life, he cannot be my disciple. See, the last line is really emphasizing. Yes, even his own life, one has to almost give his or her own life to the master. Such a priority. Then one can be a disciple to a master. Not only with Jesus Christ, any master. Therefore, it is very, very difficult to be a disciple. It can be one among so many people. It's easier. But to be a disciple is not an easy thing. One has to do a very renouncing. Here we have to understand one more thing. When he says hating, what he really says, even though he is talking to the disciple kind of people, that audience, he is not saying to hate your mother literally, hate your father literally. No. What he says is hating the attachment, hating the psychological attachment with the mother, with the father, with the wife or husband or the children, psychologically, not really existentially. That means what? You love your mother, love your father, love your wife and husband and children and so on, and love yourself also, self-love. But never be attached to none of this. Psychologically attached. Be detached psychologically. See, in fact, you can love your mother, father, and wife or husband or children is only possible when you are detached psychologically. Psychologically means when you are free from bondages. That's what he is saying. He is not literally saying you have to create hatred. He doesn't say that you have to turn back towards your mother, father, children, wife or husband, etc. Never create an attachment, psychological attachment. That we must understand very clearly. Still you can love all these people. But when it comes priority, for the disciple again, is not speaking to common people, disciples, one has to give utmost importance for master. You know one thing, one can have an attachment with the mother, easily one can be attached psychologically and can create bondage also. And also one can have attachment with wife or children, possible, and one can attach to oneself also. See, it's very important. The last line is very important. Yes, even his own life. See, the first and the foremost qualification for a disciple is he should not have an attachment with the physical body, still he can be with the body. Should not have an attachment with the mind, still he can use the mind. And not having attachment to the intellect and emotion, etc. And still one can use all of them. This is a really fundamental qualification to be a disciple. Then only a master can do something for a disciple. Otherwise, whatever master keep on teaching and sharing and giving wisdom, it won't be of much help as far as the disciples are concerned. Therefore, to confirm this discussion that we are making, watch any master, the present day masters also, even in the life of Jesus Christ, go back and see. Always the number of disciples are very less. This is a proof. Number of disciples are very less for a master. But he is surrounded by huge people, lot of people. Every master is surrounded with lots of people. Nowadays, if you take the present master, present gurus, you can see actually thousands and thousands of crowd around a master. But don't be deceived that all of them are really disciples. They are not disciples. All of them are not disciples to a master. Disciples are always few in numbers. That's for sure. The rest of them are taking something, some goodness from any master. Maybe that goodness may be helpful for a nice physical body maintenance, or a little peaceful life to lead a normal life, or little relaxation here and there. So all of that, the so-called the crowd, the huge crowd around a master can be of benefited for other different purposes. But a disciple is one who is really interested to have the realization, to have the self-realization, to be enlightened. A disciple means the one who is really targeting enlightenment. That's what. So he is talking to that selected people, not for the mass. So you can see this scenery with all the masters who are all living today. Whatever teaching they take up, that's all, for their daily maintenance of life. But the disciple is looking from a master far advanced state, advanced level, attaining advanced level. So for that kind of disciples, that kind of souls, that kind of people, persons, one has to give the secondary preference for all the relatives, all the associations. In fact, the whole world one side and the master on the other side. The disciple always following 100% the master. Rest of the thing is immaterial for a true disciple. This is what the emphasis here, the comparativeness is going on in this context. And there is a chance of this quote. When somebody is reading this, understanding superficially, it will be a complication. It has to be deeply understood. Then only we can have a nice and beautiful relations around. Even I have seen some people who really hate their own body. They torture their own body. Especially some of the sadhakas, the so-called sadhakas who are practicing spiritual disciplines, they torture their body. Because they say, when you ask why you torture your body, they say that, yes, we should not have any attachment with the body. That is not the meaning. So, when the master says detach from your body, not that you have to hate the body or you have to torture the body. You provide whatever needed to the body and feel the bodiness, and still you can be free from the attachment, the bondage with the body. How can we do that? Remembering and realizing that I am not the body, that I am not the mind, I am not thoughts, I am not emotion, but I am pure consciousness. If one is able to travel whole day, whole month and whole week, whole life in this kind of right understanding, there won't be any problem at all. No need to torture one's own body or one's own mind. Need not be worried about the mind. Mind is always neutral. It's up to us to make use of the mind positively or negatively. It's in our hand totally. So, this quote from Luke chapter 14, 26th version is really beautiful, really helpful for true disciple, for those who really targeting enlightenment, targeting self-realization. This much we can understand about this. And also we have to remember, we should not forget that many masters, including Jesus Christ, addressing to two types of people. One type of people, he is straightaway talking to disciple qualified people, and another, a general mass, society people, to live their normal life in their family, in their society, in their day-to-day life. That we should not forget this. Then there won't be any contradiction. Some people said actually about the quote, we are confused, we don't know. It is said that you hate father, mother, children, wife and all. It's confused. No confusion actually. It's very clear. Jesus Christ is very clear. No confusion. He is a man of clarity. How he will confuse? No way. It depends on our own understanding, how we conceive his quotes, his words, his golden words. So with this, I am sure we'll be benefited enormously out of his words. See, one more thing you just imagine. When he says really, hate your mother, okay? See, what is a mother? Mother is one who is having a human body, okay? The body is in the outermost cover, okay? And inside there is a mind, and inside some conditioning of the mother from her family side or from the society, all right? and some talents, some knowledges, intellects and all this. Deep within the mother, what exists? Deep within the mother, what exists is divinity, isn't it? See, when everybody carries divine within, so mother also carries divine within. How Jesus can say you hate your mother? That means what? You hate the divine in her. Or you hate your father. Inside the father, deep inside of the body, God dwells. How can you hate a person totally? It's impossible. When you hate a person totally, you hate the God within the person also, isn't it? Can anyone show that a person without God within oneself? What I say God here is the pure conscious, the center of consciousness. Everyone carries the center of consciousness, isn't it? So, we have to understand rightly in such a way that not having attachment, free from the bondages, psychological bondages, that's it. But still one can love the mother, love the father, love the wife or husband, love the children without attachment. In fact, love happens only when the attachment disappears. That we must understand. Till such time what we say love is not love totally. With a condition. All this kind of love that we are showing to all the relatives, all the relationship that he is quoting is conditional. So with this, I hope we have contemplated these beautiful 3 questions with a quote clearly, and these are all our discussions and understanding about it. For practical purposes, one need to practice more of yoga, more of breath exercises, and more of different kinds of meditation approaches and all these things, which is really, really important. It's not just enough to have accumulate knowledge alone. One has to work on it on a day-to-day basis. Then we can certainly improvise ourselves, improvise our life, and improvise our quality of our life, and we'll have a blissful life and peaceful life and whatnot. In this context, we are going to have, we are already performing a few programs, Some are one-day programs, some are 2 days programs, some are weekly programs, something like that, different kinds of spiritual disciplines. You are welcome to participate any of this as you are informed. The next program maybe the AtmaKriya. We haven't finalized the date yet, but soon the next will be that. You are all welcome to participate over that, to experience something that we spoke so far. You must have your first-handed experience. For example, you mentioned here mental disturbances, right? So when you practice certain disciplines, spiritual discipline, on the spot you realize that no disturbances now. My mind is so clear, so blissful, so peaceful. That experience one can experience only by undergoing certain process. So you are welcome for such things which are going to happen time to time with us. So to communicate about this, the mail ID is meet@thelivelife.org. 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 AtmaNambi's.org. You can communicate through this. If you really want to interested, you can share your mail IDs also. Maybe you can share your contact, WhatsApp maybe, whatever you feel like, so that you can have regular communications, whatever is happening. Now we are with the YouTube Live and Instagram Live, and we are going to have such kind of sittings here and there, discussions and contemplation about different occasions, different clarities. You are most welcome. Okay. So thank you so much for this great opportunity that the Divine has given today. Shakti Satyam. Namaste. Oh.